We walk this land together. Stand and hold your heads up high, because we all have a purpose on this place. So kai ani kani yama maraba wandaklua. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I've never been to an event like this, a platform of getting people to tell emotional stories about an issue and then getting the politicians up there and keeping them accountable is super unique, and I think it was really, really powerful.
We heard really important stories from the community, and I think the politicians needed to hear it too.
Well, being here is an important part of accountability. Not everyone in the room will agree with everything I say, and that's just fine. It's about a debate, it's about exchanging information in a respectful way.
I became involved in the Hunter Community Alliance through our shared core values, providing a voice to the voiceless. I was born into a rural family in Ravensworth, and I have fond memories of growing up on the farm. It's now a huge open-cut coal mine.
Living with a disability, I experienced firsthand the barriers that can exist in society. But more importantly, I saw how community and collective action can break them down.
Growing up, homelessness was a constant threat, but at many times it was the only option. There were many nights in my formative years when I had nowhere to call home because the family home was unsafe to go to.
When I was 12, I moved into social housing after our house was burned down due to electrical faults. Housing and domestic violence services failed me, and I had to do it myself. Imagine walking in and living in such inefficient housing with exposed electrical wires, water damage so terrible that my energy bill would reach $1,200 per quarter. I'm still paying off a $13,000 electricity bill.
I spoke to a retired renter who told me about how her rent took up so much of her income. She had to make sure she only had one light bulb on at a time at night in her home in order to afford her energy bills. We are a long way from addressing the housing crisis here and now. And as people in the Hunter, you may be sceptical that our fair share of that funding will in fact make its way up here, up the M1 from Sydney, or from Canberra to Toronto, or Raymond Terrace, or Kurri Kurri, or Maitland, or Singleton. Tonight we're asking that we do get our fair share, funding that reflects the needs of our communities to address high rates of housing stress, homelessness, and domestic violence.
Will the federal government commit to renewing the $100 million Crisis and Transitional Accommodation Program grants for future rounds of funding under the Housing Australia Future Fund?
Every government should have an ambition to do that. I think that it's a really key commitment the Prime Minister made with the National Cabinet. You can guarantee its effectiveness will be on the ground in April.
We're going to shake on that.
Yeah.
We're going to shake on the commitment to the Hunter getting its fair share of funding, and also to the funding for crisis and transitional accommodation.
Fantastic.
Acknowledge that you're back here this year at our Assembly after committing to this last year. We're very keen to hear your responses to the specific asks of the HCA in the climate and energy transition.
Solar panels, heat pumps, energy efficiency for 13,500 public and social housing dwellings in New South Wales. And the Hunter is home to 10% of New South Wales public housing, so we'll get 10% of that funding, that $145 million, to ensure that if you live in public housing, you don't miss out on those benefits. That's the commitment today. It is the first announcement I'm making. I don't intend it to be the last over the next few weeks.
And if you would commit to meeting with us to allow the Hunter to have its voice at the table in the decision making around the model.
More than happy to commit to that.
We shake on that.
Today's event, it was a really, unique and empowering forum. I didn't really know what to expect coming into tonight, but getting to hear real stories from the community and seeing the politicians really be held to account in terms of what we expect from them and what their community and their constituents expect from them.
It was almost heartbreaking to hear some of those stories, but to be able to have that conversation and to know that those voices were heard at places where they needed to be, it was a great moment.
Partly because of the feeling in the room, which was full of passion and excitement.
We'll thank those wonderful people from the Hunter Community Alliance who organised this evening's assembly. We'll thank our MPs for coming along and making these wonderful commitments. And on a personal note, I just want to reflect on how amazing it is to be in this room, to feel this energy. We come from such diverse backgrounds, diverse life experiences and expectations for the future, but we all have that one same goal that's brought us into this room,